everyone, welcome back to another episode of Inside Us podcast. And in today's podcast, I have a confession to make. I have a problem following through on things that I have started. There, I've said it. And if you're honest with yourself too, you probably have that same problem too. All right, so let's go through this together. No, I did a little research because I wanted to know if something actually goes like that, if you actually have persons out there who are like me or who feeling the same thing that I'm feeling and who just don't want, me just don't want to know. Send me alone and go through that. Yeah? And there's actually a behavior that is called akrasia. And akrasia is the state of acting against your better judgment. So loosely translated, it's procrastination and lack of self-control. Yeah? Now, akrasia can stop you from doing the things that you actually set out to do. Now, right now, I need everybody to drop a comment underneath this podcast and let me know that I am not the only one going through this, because if I'm the only one make a lock off the show right now, I nobody continue. It can't be that I'm me one. I start things and not done them. So just drop a comment right now. If you're using the podcast platforms, you can send me a voice message through it and let me know. All right? Now, because I found that term, I actually did some more search and I realized that there was actually this French author called Victor Hugo that had this type of behavior. His publicist had to give him a deadline to finish writing a book because he realized that he was lagging. Right? Now, what Victor had to do when his publisher gave him that deadline was to ask his assistant to take away all of his clothes, lock them away, because he found himself going on the road to hang with friends, maybe go eat some ice cream or something, and just doing everything else other than writing the book. Now, when his assistant took away his clothes, he was left with nothing. So, of course, he had nowhere to go. And in doing so, the only thing he could have done was to just lock himself away in his library and write the book. And of course, the strategy worked because his book was published 1 week before the deadline. Now, today, we together are going to find our strategy to beat akrasia. But before we do that, I want us to understand why it is that this behavior is so prominent and why it is that we struggle with akrasia. Now, one of the explanation as to why it is that akrasia rules our life is because as humans, we are programmed to wanting things now and not later. That's how we are programmed. We don't want to wait 10, 15 years before we can reap the fruits of our labor. Yeah? We like instant gratification. We want to receive things now. We don't want to be going through that process, that prolonged process of getting places. And that's how we were made up, right? And personally, I can tell you that there are so many great ideas and business ideas that I've came up with in the past, and they are shelved now because what? When I started and realized that it reach nowhere, or in my eyes it not reach nowhere to where I would want it to be, I just stop. And I'm sure a lot of us out there have had so many great ideas and we just stop because we feel like it's not getting anywhere. We feel like it's taking too long. We think that this idea is just not the best idea and we just don't want to work on it. It a drain with energy. It a make us tired, and every time it's like we just buck up on the same stumbling block all the time. I'm here to tell you today that you're not the only one. Well, clearly, you're not the only one. I'm going through that too. And if I'm totally honest with you, even with this podcast, I have that feeling sometimes, but thank God for those persons who listen and also reach out to me all the time. They are the ones who push me. And so maybe this platform is going to be so much better than all the other ideas that I had. Maybe this one is better. Let's see if I'm not gonna shelf down here. We'll push through with this one. All right. But usually when we make a plan, whether or not it's business or for school or whatever it is, whatever idea, this great idea or whatever we set out to do, usually we are thinking about our future selves. Yeah? And the future self look very good. It look good and yeah, you just want to reach there so. But the things that we need to get done to reach our future selves, that's where the problem come in, because no, we need to make a decision. We need to make a decision whether or not we need to go back to school to get education. We need to make a decision whether or not we need to draft a business plan. We need to make a decision whether or not we need to dedicate more time to the process. And there are so many decisions that needs to be made when we think about our future self. And so when we start thinking about all of them, something that we need to do, we don't want to do it again. We just don't want to do it again because the process just seems so long. And in that state, when you make that decision that you don't want to do it again, you are no longer thinking about your future self. You are thinking about the present time, how tired you are. You're thinking about, oh, it's not going anywhere. Oh, maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe tomorrow I look at it and you find all the reasons in the world not to get it done. Today, we are going to go through this thing together because I am not the only one going through this. And if you're out there listening and watching and going through this, we're going to find a way to get through it together. We're going to find the steps we need to make to reach our future self and to just continue on the path to our goal. But before we do that, if it is that you're watching or you're listening and you're not sure whether or not you have this behavior called Akrasia, because a lot of persons might not know that them shelve some things in them life. Yeah? If you're not sure, I'm going to point out some things and you can now test yourself whether or not these things are true, if you follow what I'm saying. Now, if you can't define what is it that you want in life, Akrasia. Me, right yourself, sitting down in front of you, don't know 100% what it is that I want. But don't even know how that sound or how that look, but it is true. There are so many things that I think I can do. I think that I have so many talents, but I still don't know what is it that I want or which career I want. And I don't even know if at this age it's safe and healthy. But we're going to get through it together, like I said before, right? Another thing, if you feel like the task will bring you closer to something that you don't want, you're procrastinating. A lot of us, we make some plans and that's not what we really want. It'll bring you closer to something you really don't want. So why would you do that? Once you're thinking about something that, but if it bring me this and that I really want, if I go down the road there and that I really want, yeah, that's one of it. If the reason why you do it is not your reason, if somebody gave you the idea and it's not your idea, or if it's not something that you want to do, yeah, you're procrastinating there again because the should is not your idea. The should was established by somebody else. The reason you should do it was established by someone else. So yeah, that's another reason. One of the other reasons, if you can't see your next step to where you want to go, yes, you are like us because I cannot see my next step a lot of times. It is not clear. You have that behavior. You are procrastinating. Yeah? No. How are we going to get over this? We have to start back from the beginning. Well, I would say we have to start back from the beginning because that's what I plan to do. And I guess you probably can do your own research as to how you're going to start over or how you're going to get over this behavior. But I will be starting from the beginning. I will sit down again and I will ask myself, what is it that you want? Where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where do you see this podcast going in a few years? I would have to ask myself those questions again. Now, the first thing that I have done already, and you will need to do yourself, is probably download a to-do app. I did that yesterday. I downloaded a to-do app named Trello. I actually used it for my wedding too. It's actually a good app, so you can download it and try it out. So what it does is to give you to-do list, a list called doing, and a list called done, right? And I have filled out all of my list as to the things that I need to get done, the things that I'm currently doing, and the things that are already done. Now, in doing so, if you are like me, again, a lot of ideas are in your head. But if you don't write it down, they're going to go. That happened to me too many times in my life. And so if you write it down in your to-do app, it is always there and you get a reminder. Now, if you go to school like me and probably have a full-time job like me, you also need to schedule when you're going to get these things done and by when. So give yourself a deadline. For me, I have to put a 2 hour doing this today, a 2 hour doing that tomorrow, because I have to schedule my time around work and around school and around a whole lot more things. So you have to schedule your time properly as to when you're going to get things done. Always, especially if it's a business idea, you have to sit down, plan it out 100%. Do a lot of research. If your business is not new to the world, someone out there else is doing it. So do a lot of research as to how they get it done. Reach out to other people if you have to. Ask them how they get it done. And something else that I'm forgetting is that a lot of us, a part of this Akrasia behavior is fear. And that's one of my biggest challenge. Fear. The fear of the unknown. The fear of just putting yourself out there. The fear of what will be said or how you are seen, or the fear of just years of putting in the work and not seeing anything happen. And you see somebody attempt it and it works for them, and you nothing not going for you. And like I was saying to my husband earlier in the week, the starting of things, anything, any plan, any idea, any business is lonely. I don't even know where me get that statement from, but I was just saying to him, the starting of things always seems lonely because it's in that state. It's almost like you are not seeing the growth. And people might say like, oh my God, she's doing this grand thing and it's just working for her. I don't understand that behind the scenes, you feel like nothing is happening because where you see it, where you see your future self, it's just taking too long. It will get lonely and you will feel like nothing is happening, but you will have to trust the process. Like I am trying to do right now, trusting the process and just following through. If you have to drop everything and just choose one idea to follow through on, maybe that's the best thing to do. Find one of the things in what you do and just say, I'm working on you until it's completed. Maybe it is that we can manage 2, 3, 4 things one time. I'm just saying. But right now, my plan is to just focus on one thing at a time and just following through on that one thing at a time. It will work out. It will. If we do this thing together, because me a look company right now, me not tell you say, yeah, me good at this. Me not tell you say, me a some boss, but no, me a struggle too. Yeah, I said that earlier. I'm struggling too. And so I need your assistance. You need mine. We need to help each other. Touch each other and say, yeah. What about that? What about shape me up, jerk me up, pinch me? Yeah, slow down on this. You understand? You have to just do things. It's not gonna get done by itself. And those are my few little words. And that's my confession for today. Let's get this done. Let's work on our future self, because a lot of us have a lot of great ideas that needs to be seen and heard. So let us just get it done. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And for the persons who are watching this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. This is also in all podcast platforms. You can go there, subscribe to, listen on your way to work, on your way to school, wherever you're going, just on the go podcast. Go ahead and do that. Thank you so much for listening, and see you in my next video.